Oh, happy Friday night. Sorry for the lateness. Been busy all day today. Had some VA doctor's appointments and physicals and stuff for my benefits and stuff, and it has thrown my entire latter half of the week off. So this is pretty much an impromptu show. Didn't have my computer with me for most of the day. And like I said, but there's a lot to talk about. I didn't have any thumbnails or anything in specific, but I think you guys know what all the general topics are. Obviously, we have Cavill coming back as Superman. We've had the reviews from Black Adam coming out. There's a couple things that, like I said, that anybody can bring up that I am open to talking about. Let me go ahead and bring in Thade. What's going on, dude?
What's up? How's everything?
Better late than never. Just like I said, had an opportunity to take advantage of a VA appointment opening that came up, and I just had to drop everything and take it. So, and it just
Of
totally
course, you got to.
like. So let's see who's in the chat. Hey, fourth 1,000 Monkey Jeebus. I'm pretty sure there'll be. I saw UFOs. Hey, I live in Vegas, so they probably came from here. Fourth 1,000. Always good to see you, Professor X. Going on, Chappie, Vince. So yeah. Like I said, ordinarily would the show take place at 6:00, 6:30 or so, right in the heart of the day. But we had some other issues coming up, and I would have a planned thumbnail. But for the most part, this is usually our shorter show. Of the week. The overnight show
Tomorrow night.
is a longer show. It's about 3 hours or so. But maybe I may start. To be honest with you. Depending on how I can get things going and how I can get this home area studio completed, I may want to start doing the Friday night shows here. Nobody from our group takes those spots right now. Originally there was supposed to be a bunch of people that were supposed to be streaming all before and after me, and that's why I took the 6:30 slot. To be honest with you, the 6:30 slot is really tough because I kind of have to shorten the day of the store, even though it's open. I have to shorten the day to be able to accommodate the show, and I have to shorten the show in order to be able to accommodate the store to be open until 10. So I may get with Enosh and start doing shows at 9:30, 10 o'clock. That's generally the time of day where I'm most relaxed. I mean, I'm set up enough to where I can host a show either way. I mean, the show looks better at the store because right now the area that this will all be in is not turned around yet. Eventually, now that at least for the next couple months or next 6 months, where we don't have to have the air conditioner drowning out the sound, I can now begin to start moving my equipment into a different area where the AC, we won't have it on, and the heater is on the other side of the building. You guys would never hear that, but during the summertime, you probably notice when I'm on streams, you can hear it, and I have to turn it down, or I have to mute myself when I'm not talking, and it's a pain in the ass when it's Vegas. It's like 110 degrees sometimes, and you're sitting here on a stream while your equipment is overheating because there's no air conditioning. So, but yeah, so we're going to be working on that. So let's see. Start off with Rational Skeptic. William Thay, did you hear the Rock said he was the old regime? Yeah, and be honest with you, I don't know why anyone would have believed otherwise.
Yeah.
Is there an article? I saw a tweet about that, but I know there was an article somewhere. Can you find an article about that?
Yeah, hold on a minute. Let me look.
Yeah, and send me the link because I'll bring it up. Yeah, I be honest with you, given how everything has gone the past 5 to 7 years, I had no doubt in my mind that it was the old regime that was the obstacle in bringing back him. And it wasn't, and from what I'm hearing, it wasn't necessarily about money. It was more about them and them not having anything to do with him. And I've always said this over and over again, and it probably sounds like me kicking a dead horse. Once they had screwed up things with Snyder by interfering to the point where they fucked themselves, it was like a kid that, like a dog. When a dog goes into a trash can or chews up the toilet paper, if you notice the dog never wants to go back to that area again, it's almost like he forgets that he did that shit. And that's basically what they never wanted to go back to the area because they were the ones that screwed it up. And going back to Cavill as Superman, going back to Ben Affleck as Batman, this is going back to a mess they created. So it doesn't surprise me at all that it was the older regime that was the obstacle. But it wasn't just the bringing back Superman. It was the older regime was the obstacle of just success. And regardless of how you think about these individuals, as far as whether they were to be respected as studio execs or anything else, and they are. I mean, I don't know these people personally. I don't have a hate for them personally, but at the same time, you have to understand and realize that they leave, and we start getting movement. We start getting movement in the positive direction. You know, they go. I mean, and anybody who wants to try to defend that regime is going to have a hard time doing so because the amount of time that they had. The old regime was in power and had everything at their disposal, had all the actors at their disposal, had all the producers at their disposal. They had everybody's number, and they gave you scattered whatevers, you know, Suicide Squad here, the Batman here, Wonder Twin Powers ideas here, Blue Beetle there. So yeah, when I hear that they were the major obstacle of all this, it doesn't surprise me at all, and it should surprise nobody. I still can't believe to this day that there are people who want to continue to defend that regime, keeping their jobs. Like I said, nothing personal, but sometimes certain people just aren't a fit, and you have to be able to recognize that they're not a fit. But the people who would have done the recognizing that those guys weren't a fit were part of the problem themselves. When you had Toby Emmerich, who just wasn't the guy for that job, and it's not Williams speaking. It's look at the numbers, look at the scattered success. Look at what we have and what we don't have, and then look at what we have. All I hear is belly aching about what Zaslav is cutting. You know, even though most of it's coming from people I guess can't add, and have forgotten whatever math that they learned in school or high school or college. They've forgotten. They've never took economics before. They don't understand how devaluation works. They don't understand how mergers work, or they just claim to be stupid when they start whining about what the current management had to do and what they walked into. But on the flip side, this happened under his watch, and The Rock said as much. So the biggest IP that they have, one of the two biggest IPs that they have, the other being Batman, is back on the table, not because of anything greenlit by the failed regime, but by the one that's only been in power since mid-April. So, like I said, all the belly aching I hear about Zaslav cutting things that, be fucking honest, most of you guys were not watching. And if you were watching, the ad revenue leverage would be there and they wouldn't be cutting them because they would be making money. They're not cutting things that are blockbuster success. They're cutting things that aren't making them money or making very minuscule profits. So, yeah, let me know when you find that.
I'm working on it. I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah, I should have had it pulled up, but like I said, this was a scattered brain show. How about this show? The finale was kind of silly.
It was meant to be, though.
I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's like
it shows how they realize that they're meta. I mean, it shows how Marvel realizes what it's doing, and it to me it sounds like a shift in what they're going to do going forward.
I just think there's just too much Marvel content out there, and to be honest with you, She-Hulk, while I rather enjoyed She-Hulk for the most part, if I never saw it, my life wouldn't have changed. And I thought I was going to be getting a lot more when he told me who they were casting and who was going to be in it. And like I said, I'm not like I said, wasn't underwhelmed. I thought the finale was I thought it was lame, but I sat next to people who had a ball at it, and I got what they were doing. And like I said,
it was very British comedy in scope.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people got it though. I don't think from the
that's
reading, a lot
that's
of people,
the problem.
Yeah, and then that's what that Benny Hill Monty Python stuff. You either get it or you don't. And if you're not in on it, you're looking at me like, "What's that mean?" I'm like looking at you like, "What?" I mean, I'm throwing my hands up with them. So, yes, House of Dragon is incredible. And the tragedy is that we only have 2 episodes left, and I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with myself. Even if they announce it next year and start filming and get it done, I can't take that time in between. I'm gonna have to wander the streets, wondering what to do with myself. Let's see, we got a lot of chat in here. I actually just bought my ticket for Black Adam, and I'm seeing it next week on Friday.
I'm grateful for your friendship. I'm grateful for how you helped me get into this chair. That big favor you did for me, Mike.
Who's that?
You know that I
interview real quick. Hold on.
Okay, while he's getting that together, I actually just bought my. Yeah, we are doing. In fact, all this week long, and tomorrow's show, we're going to be doing some promos during the show. We are taking a theater full of people to go see Black Adam on Wednesday the 19th and Thursday the 20th. So between those two trips, we're probably going to be taking about 70 some odd people to Black Adam. So we get to see it. The cat's already out of the bag. The trailer, not the trailer, but the end credit scene is all over the place, all over. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen the extended one that was really long. I saw the little itty bitty snippet one, and it's all. I couldn't even avoid it, even if I wanted to, but it doesn't matter because we know who's in it. We know what it's about. We know what it means, and that's the biggest thing. This coming out and this being revealed. This isn't about Black Adam. This is about what it means in a positive conversation about DC that we can finally start having. I don't know how many streams I've been on to where it's been, just woe is me, woe is this, and we've had to point out the ineptitude of the people who have come before, and that's pretty much been our long conversation. We have never, and not in a while at least, not in the past 5 or 6 years, have been able to open up a conversation with hope and wow and anticipation and wow, I can't wait till this to happen. And what does this mean positively? We always have to look at, oh wow, when is that guy going to get fired? Or damn, is this going to be a disappointment? Now, for the most part, and the best thing about this being leaked is that part of the disappointment is not there. We know he's there. We know he shows up. Some of you have seen it. And that's not going to ruin the movie because I still don't know what goes on in the movie as far as I know the premise of the movie, but I don't know what's going on in the movie, like, act for act. Doesn't matter though. This is a gateway movie for me. If we support this movie, if you want to see the type of content that The Rock is capable and it sounds like he wants to put out, support the hell out of Black Adam and you'll get more. It's that easy. He's done the legwork. He's the one who had to fight the old regime to a standstill and kept going to present it to this new regime to get Cavill back as Superman, to get, the type of universe that he can work with. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to support the hell out of Black Adam. And if it's a bad movie, I'll say it. But at the same time, to me, this is more than just this movie. This is about an entire leap forward that we can be happy about. And we can start speculating in the positive about what's next. All right. That's, to me, when we walk out of the theater, whenever you guys see Black Adam, the conversation should be the most positive that it's been with the DC extended universe for 5 or 6 years. All right. The standalones don't mean shit to me as far as that conversation goes. You know what? I walk out of the Batman and I'm like, okay, great. I feel great about the Batman. I will see you all in 3 fucking years when another Batman comes out. That's not the kind of stuff that can keep your conversation going when you're talking about trying to make the kind of revenue that these guys need to make and to have the kind of scope that you have to have when you have legendary IPs like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Aquaman. You can't do it with standalones. I know the artsy fartsy crowd says just make good movies and they should just do standalones. All right. If I'm a stockholder with a whole lot of money on the line, I'm going to go tell you to take a flying leap and stay wherever you land. All right. The volume of money that you are trying to make to sustain a global company and to be able to make these movies and to make them high quality demands that you have a shared universe. Now, do you have to have 20 to 30 movies and bloat everything up like, Marvel has done for the most part? Even though it's been successful, there's a lot of stuff out there that I could have done without. No. But your story has to have a start. Your story has to have a middle, and your story has to have a beginning. And however long it lasts for you to put out the story that you mean to tell, that's what you need to do. And then once that ends, you need to have something else ready for people. So if I'm going to end a major story arc, have something ready. And the previous regime, their problem is not only did they not let it continue to its resolution, they ended it prematurely without having anything left or in its place. So what were we left to talk about for the last 5 years? Nothing. And when you have the absence of good content, bullshit seeps in. Rumors seeps in. People making their entire living off of bashing DC films seeps in. And that's what they allowed to seep in by not having anything in there. Like I said, there's a reason why his appearance in Black Adam means this much. It really shouldn't be. We shouldn't be sitting on 5 years without having seen Superman on a big proper screen. Zack Snyder's such as notwithstanding, because that was released on streaming for the most part. But it's been 5 years since we've seen Kal-El on the screen, on the major big screen. That is not that's unacceptable. That alone tells me that whoever was running DC Films at that time does not need to continue. That one thing alone. I don't care what their other successes were. You let the big cheese sit for 5 years to the point where your successors have to come in and basically find a way to get him in. Like I said, what the article that they just bring up is it's proof that they didn't greenlight this cameo. The new regime greenlit this cameo, and credit The Rock for going right to them immediately while he still had time and making this happen. But The Rock shouldn't have had to do it. If you had a good fine-tuned machine, you would have already we would have been on our 4th or 5th appearance of Superman. Hell, we might be done with this arc already. We might be ready to move on to some of the secondary characters because we would have already gotten our characters. I would be ready for Blue Beetle, right? I would be ready for Booster Gold after Superman, right? I will be ready for Alfred. I would be ready for Robin. I would be ready for Catwoman, Batgirl, Batwoman. I would be open-minded to any of these things that you want to feed me after Superman. All right? Don't bring me the croutons and the side dish and the potato chips and all the other stuff when you haven't even brought me the steak yet. All right? I'm going to sit at my table. I'm going to stare at you until you bring out my 16-ouncer. All right? I am open. What this does, if they're able to get this going, this sets things on a path to where all these other things can start carrying the load. It doesn't always have to be all Superman. It doesn't always have to be all Batman, all Wonder Woman. We haven't even gotten a good Green Lantern movie yet. It doesn't have to be the Pantheon all the time, but they are the ones that have to kick in the door. And it finally seems like we have a protagonist in The Rock and somebody that is at least listening to the business end. And when I heard about that today, that they had to fight the old regime and they kept saying no, and then finally when you had to change the management, and I think when Faye brings it up, their exact words was what a difference to change management or something like that means. And yeah, we all feel the same way. I feel the same way. So I can't wait for Black Adam, like I said, and let us never be in this situation again with DC Films. Now that Dwayne Johnson has kicked the door open, Black Adam is great a character. He is Dwayne. I almost said Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Johnson will make him. He's not the alpha. He's not. And even The Rock knows that. That's why The Rock fought to get him in here. All right. A year from now, we shouldn't have to have a subsidiary character or a derivative character like The Rock or Robin have to carry the weight of an extended universe. Right now, The Rock has had to do it because there has been nothing done in the last 5 years of note. The Rock's having to do all this promotion because the previous regime, and no matter what anyone wants to tell you, these advertising campaigns and these things that are set in place months and months and months in advance. All right. Zaslav coming in, the only thing that Zaslav could have come in and done to really make a significant change in the trajectory of what this movie might do is what he's done. And that's allow them to add Cavill in. All right. And if what The Rock is saying is true, that came from this regime. All the advertising, the TV spots, the posters, the t-shirt, all that stuff was bought back in February. All right. This stuff happens months and months. You just don't get in within 3 months of a movie and they say, oh, let's start advertising. Let's get that. Okay. All the theaters have been rented out. That thing he did in Mexico, somebody, if it's happening in October, trust me, it was set up, signed, and delivered somewhere January or February, or at the very latest March. New regime didn't take over till April. So everything that you're seeing rolled out, if you're, and I think that the advertising campaign came too late. And I think it came a little bit less than it should be. But you know what? We can make up for it with this. But the current regime and The Rock are why you have a turn in what we're getting. Go ahead, Tate. I guess he's still looking. All right. So, yeah, I bought my ticket. Hi, Sri. How you doing? I miss you. 7 orange lights that were hovering and took off fast. Where are you, Monkey Jeebus? How are you not too close to? Hope you're not too close to Nevada. We're about to get invaded.
All right, is my avatar back up again? Because
Yes,
somebody said my avatar was broke. Okay, so I sent you 2 different clips from The Rock talking to your Twitter.
Okay.
One of them is him talking about Marvel and how they paved the way.
Can I play that without getting shut down?
You can play those clips. It's fine.
Okay.
They're only like 30 seconds apiece. And the second clip is him talking about the old regime.
Okay, hold on. Let me get this going. All right. Full screen. All right, guys, hold on. Let me figure out what I'm doing here so we can. Because I really want you guys to see this. Got that down. And present. Share screen. Share tab. All right, let me get over back to Twitter.
And that's what you want your lead foot to be. So, yes, phone calls, meetings, but man, it was years. This was 6 years to get that done. I'm going to say that again.
Let me get this. Let me start this over.
We first started talking about this.
Hold on.
Feel that this serves not only Black Adam, feel that this serves not only Black Adam, but it serves the larger DC universe. But man, more importantly than that, it takes care of the fans. And that's what you want your lead foot to be. So, yes, phone calls, meetings, but man, it was years. This was 6 years to get that done. I'm going to say that again. 6 years we first started talking about this, and they kept saying no. Now that leadership isn't there anymore because we usher in a new era in the DC universe, and we usher out an old era. Feel that
Okay.
Black Adam, but it serves the larger DC.
That need he say more? I mean, did you hear that? That come through clearly for everybody? Let's see, it's gone in mute mode again.
Yeah, play that other clip that I sent you.
Okay, but you heard that first part, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was there.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let me get the other one. That first one is stunning. All right, and you sent me the first one, so let's get that one going.
Take any kind of bite out of Marvel.
Get out of this. Hold on. Doesn't want to be cooperative. All right, here we go.
That answer is unequivocally no. Because, and do I think we're going to take any kind of bite out of Marvel? That answer is unequivocally no. Because, and do I think we're going to take any kind of bite out of Marvel? That answer is unequivocally no. Because, to me, as we build out the DC universe, this new era, ushering in a new era of the DC universe, that to me is not my lead foot. It's not our goal to take a bite out of Marvel. What they've done is incredible. What Kevin Feige has done is incredible. And by the way, and I love those guys. They're all my friends. And they are largely responsible for the economic drive of our business for almost 2 decades. So we don't want to be Marvel. We want to be DC. And how we do things. So that's what I want. I don't want to take a bite of that apple. I want to grab a new apple. and I want to create from there.
Oh my goodness. I have waited almost 9 years to hear those words. To hear someone at some level say that. To be the pilot of their own plane instead of looking over what somebody else is doing in their own plane. And he recognizes that they are a driving engine in the economics of movies, filmmaking, comic book, or otherwise. But at the same time, he truly seems to understand that DC is DC. All right. The comparisons end at the word comic book and superheroes. All right. DC Comics has been its own animal, and it always needed to be addressed in its own way. And it took an actor who's not a studio head to come in and say something that DC execs should have been saying back from the moment Man of Steel was released. If we would have had that frame of mind, in place, and when Man of Steel was released, none of us would probably be here in the capacity that we are in right now. So the two clips are the two things I really needed to hear. What I already knew as far as the previous regime screwing things up. I don't think that's a secret. There's people who want to deny that, but though that's a fool's errand. And then the fact that his goal going forward, that he seems to have convinced him in, is not to be another Marvel, but to be a DC. And that's beautiful. That's music to my ears. Are you there, Straight?
Yeah, just munching a snack. Sorry, I didn't want to hear everybody hear me munching my snack.
Okay, I just want to make sure it got all quieter. All right, Chappie. Well, I'm excited for this Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. I'm just not crazy for them using. From what I hear and what I saw, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear a theme at all. Now that may have been because of obviously the footage that I was seeing was kind of bootlegged as much as it can be when I think the studio released it. But I didn't hear a theme. I don't have anybody who's seen it. I didn't hear the theme, but at the same time,
it was very faint.
There was a lot of cheering going on too. So
it was very faint.
I like when it comes to the theme and all that other stuff. It is overwhelmed by the fact that that Cavill's back. And be honest with you, if we see him again, it's going to be a Zimmer theme or it's going to be his own theme. This right here is just opening the door. This is a base hit. All right, we get the home run down the line, and I hate to use analogy since my pathetic Dodgers lost tonight to the Madres. Had no business 111 win team losing to an 89 win team. They are 9 innings away from a whole lot of people being traded away or fired. Y'all better fucking win tomorrow. Anyway. So yeah, hey, Alistair 6531. I am doing okay. A little bit late, but never.
I was hoping those two clips would be the ones you were looking for, William. That
they were, and that especially the first one. That first one has been pretty much what I've been hearing about all day. And then I love the way he ended it up about that regime, that regime's gone, that management crew's gone, and that's it. So everybody who's been trying to defend that regime, trying to defend their decision making, even if you don't have anything personal against them, and I don't, their decision making the last 5 years and beyond has been absolutely horrid. All right, it has been bad. It has been out of touch and disconnected, and it has been the topic of the conversation when the heroes should be. Superman should be the topic of the conversation, not the clown management that preceded this crew. All right, Black Adam for the most part, derivative character that he is, should be the conversation, not whatever scandals going on with Ray Fisher and all this other stuff. Wonder Woman should be the conversation, not are we going to try to reboot the entire. And by the way, I am more confident now that the rebooting of the DC Extended Universe was a dumb idea to begin with, and I've gone on record as saying reboot and stupidity they're the same word basically. They're the same word when it comes to this word. Reboot for DC films, or DC anything for that matter, but DC films, reboot and stupidity are the same word. All right? Look up stupidity, Google stupidity, and rebooting DC's film universe should come up as a picture. So, but it sounds like we are going to be operating in this universe for quite some time. And if there is a reboot, if there is a reset, then it's going to be done in a transitional type state that does not shock and piss people off.
Well, the thing is it needs to be. It needs to be brought back in a better way because everything was all over the place before. Like things did not piece together right.
But there's still enough there to continue and consolidate.
That's what I'm saying. Like you gotta
reboot is a.
You got to consolidate and tweak it just a little bit. And I think it'll be okay.
All right. Who made the William look? Oh, that was my sister Jackie. She's as we get further and further and more professional looking, You're gonna start seeing a little bit better intros and outros, and I got some stuff that's coming in tomorrow. We have a Black Adam promo that I hope I have ready for tomorrow. That's a national promo, but it's also a local promo too, because I'm going to have people join our show tomorrow, and they can leave comments. If they leave comments, I'm going to draw winners from there. So she's making that. She made my she redid my original intro that I had for Sci-Fi Center Live, and we're just trying to get a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more professional. That what you saw there was for Game of Thrones, and as Game of Thrones, we had our post show, we had our after show. I think I'm going to do the season finale show down in the bar this time, because I think that's going to be our biggest crowd of the year, is episode 9 or episode 10. I'm sorry. So I'll have the throne down there and ready. But yeah, that's who did that for me. Let's see. But yeah, The Rock. You know what? In The Rock, I trust. Anybody, people can say whatever the hell they want to say about The Rock. He's a hack. He can't act in it. I don't care. He's moving things that executives were supposed to move. He is promoting things that executives were supposed to promote. He's become a 5-tool guy, when really the only thing he's really obligated to do is promote and produce his movies. There's a film company behind him with billions of dollars and thousands of people working for them. That's their job to push these things past the finish line. But you know what? The Rock is doing that instead. And I'm like, okay. And I have, like I said, obviously coming from the wrestling world, I have tremendous amount of respect for The Rock to begin with. But as a savvy business person, and not just as a savvy business person, him and Danny Garcia, they didn't give up. Everybody else that the previous regime told no just went away for the most part, went on their things. These guys stuck with it. It was that important to them that they got it in there. And now look what we're talking about. We're talking about a movie that rightfully should make about $500 million, to be honest with you. And all of it because of The Rock. Because nobody knows who Black Adam is. Nobody knows all that. Whatever the money that it makes is all because of one guy. Now he's got some help. Now that we know that the Big Red S is going to be there, we have some help. And not just the Big Red S being there for that, however long it is. I won't spoil that for you guys. But when you leave that theater, we're going to be looking at each other and being like, and hanging out at the Fat Burger outside the theater, being like, damn, what about this? What if we can do this? We're going to start talking in this, like, and having real good conversations now. And now we start thinking about The Flash. All right. Now we start thinking about the next Superman movie. Now we start thinking about Shazam. And however those movies were going to be, this one gesture sheds a whole new positive light from everything to come. Now all they have to do is make really good movies. That's it. That's the one caveat. From what I'm hearing, and I have had some people who have seen press screenings, they loved it. They said it was a good, solid movie, that it was fun. It's not a perfect movie, but there's no such thing as a perfect superhero movie. And I've heard really good reviews. And in fact, you guys can. The embargo is off, so you can kind of see. And I'm hearing good reviews from people who usually give a blah review to just about anything comic book, and furthermore, The Rock. I'm hearing it get good reviews from him. So right now we have what looks like a solid movie. We have the potential of Superman and Black Adam fighting or on the screen again together. That's fun. These are the fun conversations I wanted to be streaming about when I first started this. I didn't want to be honest with you, what The Rock is allowing me to do now is decrease my conversation less and less as we go forward. I'm not going to be talking about DC's management. I'm not going to be talking about, because most of them are gone. And most the ones that are there are not going to have the type of impact. No one's going to have as big an impact, even if he's not the studio head, because he's not a studio head. No one's going to have a bigger impact over the near future on DC's IPs and visual properties than The Rock, especially if this movie is good and it's a success. Execs like winning. And if he goes out and he wins, he's going to be able to pave his way. And all he has to do, all Danny Garcia and $7 Cinemas has to do, or productions has to do, is make really good movies. Make really good movies. And then us fans, we'll take care of the rest. General audience, the MILFs, they'll take care of the rest. You got Momoa, you got The Rock, and you got Cavill. That's a MILF super magnet. Right? That's not just a rare earth That is a MILF conductor. All right. So
since this cameo was right, there was a graphic put out a few weeks ago that showed Cavill for cameo on Black Adam. It showed Wonder Woman for a cameo in Shazam.
Yep.
It showed the Trinity for a cameo in The Flash, and it showed Batman for Aquaman. So, I mean, if this cameo was correct, I don't see why the others wouldn't be either. And if so, I think we're going to do okay.
Yeah, we're up in the right place. Now, there's going to be a lot of people who my fellow Snyder guys, and listen, I'm one of them. I was one of them before I even knew what the hell the movement was called. All right, I went searching for the movement, and that's how I found Film Junkie. That's how I found Chris Long Swinton. That's how I found the Nerd Queens and all these people. But here's the thing, though. Everything that you guys want or even have a remote hope of ever getting starts next Wednesday night or next Thursday night for you guys. Everything that you want and that you think that you might be able to get either partially or wholly, whether it's the finishing of the original Snyder arc or anything else, starts with you supporting this movie when it comes out. Support the hell out of it. And if you like it, if you don't like it, say you don't like it. But if you like it, make sure all your buddies like it, or not like it, but they know you like it and that gives the movie a chance to take a picture. Because like I said, I don't know. I don't need a full restoration of the Snyderverse. I've always said, and I'm on record for saying this on this show and others, I need a resolution to the Snyderverse. I want it into the Apocalypse Dark Side storyline. After that, do whatever the hell you want. But what we have now is we have the Superman that Zack Snyder casted, the Wonder Woman that Zack Snyder casted, the Flash that Zack Snyder casted, the Aquaman that Zack Snyder casted, and a Black Adam that is operating in a movie full of people that Zack Snyder casted. Even Viola Davis is in there. We got
and that's the thing. Earlier today, I was arguing with a moron on
now be nice.
On Twitter that was talking about Henry Cavill being a sellout because this Black Adam movie is pushing the Justice League and it doesn't matter if Henry comes back. He's sold out. He's against us now. He hates Zach and blah 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 blah.
Crazy. Who is us?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
did he not hear what The Rock said? That Justice stuff went down with the Titanic. That was the previous regime. He is clearly telling you that we're talking about the new regime. And even if you did want to tie it to the Justice League, we're moving forward. The Justice League was to stop us from moving forward. It was to cut things off and move things in a very goofy direction that never happened. All right. The next step for the Justice League never happened. We're actually getting a next step from the fact that those people that were in control of them, they're no longer part of the game. All right. So we're getting the characters that he casted. Of course, he sold. It's a job. He gets paid. I mean, it's not no big deal there. But as far as like that's just silliness. And this is what we have to stop. I really need my fellow geeks to understand what victory. Just take the win, guys. Take the win. This is the win. And it's going to lead to more wins. And if you look around, all these tiny little wins, they make a big win. All right? It's that easy. You got the guy that we've been trying to get back for 5 years. The guy who should have been on our screen for 5. We got him back. All right? We have the people that was casted by the guy that you love, and we all revere, are all in either their own projects or going to be cameos in other projects. And he's not just doing cameos just to satisfy your small taste. When he's doing these cameos, from what I can understand, he's doing these cameos as he's moving things into place. He's playing a chess game. So while The Rock is playing, if you don't understand chess, I'm with you. But understand that there's somebody out there playing chess. We're done with checkers. All right? Don't think in checkers. Don't look at The Rock's chess game that he's playing with his producer and the people he's talking to. Don't look at that with checker eyes. All right, understand that there is a complex thing that he just told you. 6 years of getting no's, and I commend him for not stopping at year 5 and going into year 6 and not giving up. I mean, and he understands that we're out here, and I love what he said on I forgot what he said it multiple times, but he says We may not be able to give you everything you want, but you need to know that we're listening. That is something that we were not getting from the past 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. We not only were we not getting that from them, we were getting the exact opposite. Whatever they did want to hear from us, they struck back. They took an adversarial role against all the fans. And yeah, there were some knuckleheads out there that did some really stupid shit.
It's funny. It's funny to me that how both companies are letting us know they're paying attention to what we're saying. Marvel did it with She-Hulk. That what they did with the finale of She-Hulk is proving that they're listening to us. Okay.
Yeah, and see, Marvel with the problem, not the problem, but the thing with Marvel is they actually had a better connection with their people from the beginning. Now they've tailed off every now and then, but for the most part, DC never really has. I mean, their filmmakers did, but the executives are like, "Oh, it didn't make $1 billion." And if I hear one more person say that Batman versus Superman should have made $1 billion, I just tape your mouth shut. All right.
Not all movies have to make $1 billion to be successful.
It's actually a rarity. Even if you look at
it's very much a rarity.
Yeah.
Even Marvel only has like $4 billion movies.
You have Captain Marvel, which shouldn't have made $1 billion, but it was.
Yeah, Captain Marvel, Endgame,
Avengers, the original Avengers.
The original Avengers, and then with Sony, they have the 2 Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, and I think that didn't the second Avengers movie make $1 billion?
I think so, but there's only like a handful of those movies out of 20 movies.
Yeah, 30 movies.
Out of 30 movies, you only have a handful that cross the $1 billion line. Most of them cut just short, or just $100,000 or two short of the $1 billion line, which is fine.
I mean, like I said, this $1 billion standard is stupid.
William, remember back in the day when summer blockbusters only made 50, 60 million?
Dude, Batman was like Batman Goes Boffo at 200 million. It was one of the first movies to make $200 million. Now, can you imagine that now in today's adjusted dollars? And people would have gotten fired. But we just look at it, and we should never look at the moon. And Kevin Feige is not sitting in a room with a calculator saying, "Wow, I wonder what can make $1 billion." No, right? He lets his people. He puts together what he wants to do. He tells a story, and as a byproduct of an organized and cohesive unit, both above at one time, above and below him, he's able to make this money and generate the success and generate the benefit of the doubt. Batman and Superman was never going to make $1 billion. I will fight anybody who tries to tell me that. None of the movies that they had made prior, The Dark Knight was one Heath Ledger appearance away from not making that money. And as a result of The Dark Knight Rises, would have probably not made that much money. It would have made good money, but it wouldn't have crossed over and done what it did. All the Batman, the previous Batman movie did not. The Superman movie, you slapped the red S on that. That barely made $600 million. So just slapping a red S or the bat on it, when you have all these people that stomp up and down in their diapers saying, "All right, that's not my Superman. That's not my Batman." Eventually, those people, be honest with you, I hear more of those people who end up converting and embracing the newer Superman or the newer Bat, but it takes time. So you're not going to make $1 billion or not even make decent, boffo money right out of the door. You have to build a relationship with your fans and let them know it's okay to embrace Ben Affleck as Batman, even if you like Christian Bale, if you like Michael Keaton. It's okay to enjoy this movie. It's okay if you grew up with Christopher Reeve to enjoy Henry Cavill's. It's okay. Your childhood is not under assault. Whatever memories you have in your childhood, these newer interpretations of these characters can't touch that. Just like with me with The Crow. I wish they wouldn't do a Crow, but I'll go see it, and if it's good, I'll like it. But if it's not, Brandon Lee's Crow is in my mind. Nothing can change that. And I think but it takes time with these superhero IPs because they've been handed down from one generation to another for people to embrace a new Superman, for people to embrace a new Batman. But they've done it, though. If you look at the way Zack Snyder's movies and the characters he's created have been accepted over the years, even with Zack Snyder's Justice League, I sat in the same room with people who just stomped on Zack Snyder's movies forever, who came away with a positive attitude with Zack Snyder's Justice League. And once they gave it time, and once time passed. So you weren't going to make $1 billion coming out of that game. I thought that was absolutely absurd. And for the fanboys to say that, that's one thing. But for the executives to absorb that bullshit, those people should have been fired then and there. Because when you have outsized expectations and not realistic ones, you put pressure on people and divisions within your company that shouldn't be there. and you run people underground and you create bad will. And that's exactly what they did. So first thing to do is get a story, a compelling story. All right. And get the people that you think can deliver that story as far as actors goes. Get you a producer that can put that together as far as being able to make that story work. And go from there. And then understand that your first go around may have some roughs and bumps and stuff like that. And then listen to your people and say, hey, you know what, this or that, but make your adjustments where you can, but be true to what you began. Don't make the type of adjustments that they made with BVS chewing up that movie. And then I made the abomination that was the 2017. Once you hire a guy, you sit down for hours and months and whatever, and say, and you come to a final decision and say, you are my director, you are my actor, you are my producer. I've spent time with this. I've had advisors that have advised me on this, and this is who we've come with. You're hired. You're it. That was your time to second guess Zack Snyder. When you had him in your chair and he pitched his concept, that was your time to second guess, and that goes for anybody. Your time you don't second guess the pilot of the plane after we're already up in the air. That's it. It's over with. So when they did that, when you blink, everybody watching you is blinking. It's like the Army. When the leadership blinks and fumbles, everybody down line sees that. And fans see it. The people who were involved in the movie saw it. And that's why you got what you got. But once again, today is October 14th, 2022. I'm going to hold, and you guys can hold me to this, less and less about the previous management. Less and less about the previous regime. The Rock has said everything that
needs to be said.
Yeah, that I've been saying, that a lot of us been saying, that needs to be said. The Rock said it. The Rock is more inside to this process than any of us geeks will ever be. The Rock has saved me a lot of oxygen. He said it. He has acted on it. So, amen. Let's go back to the chat because I ran my mouth. And all right, I think I got you there. All right. I hope everybody's doing all right. Things always be better. Things always be worse. Just take stock in with the things that are going okay. All right. And my advice to everybody is, because there's been a lot of people that around me that have been going through some stuff, some online, some offline, some in person. When we talk about, especially when we're getting caught up in all this stuff, whether it be sports, which pisses me off on a daily basis, or whether these imaginary dragons and characters, take stock in the real life shit that you have around you, the people that you have around you, the good things that you have going on, the good things that are happening around you, the birthdays that you're there for, all this stuff, dude. Because I've seen in the last 2 weeks, within an instant, things go south. All right, so hit the reset button, and I won't go into details, but I have several friends that have family members that are going through stuff. Like I said, I went down to the VA and I see people that have medical issues and stuff that they're working, and it's like, dude, I'm lucky to be able to just get out of here and wear my little shitty shirt and go talk geek stuff. But when I see people on these streams that are just like going full World War III, I'm like, dude, do you guys realize what's going on outside the screen? Have fun with this shit, All right, hey Vince, I didn't get to say hi to you. How are you doing? Let's see. Yeah, insecure. Listen, I mean, like I said, once again, this will probably be the last stream that I go on these guys with. Just weren't the guys for the job. I mean, I think it just comes down to that. I think we can come up with a lot of reasons why certain management, no matter what it is, whether it be your grocery store or whether it be a movie or whether it be any organization you is, sometimes oops, hold on, there we go. Somebody just sent me a bunch of pictures. Sometimes the personnel that you line up to run things doesn't line up with the mission. Sometimes the management crew that you bring in to manage things don't line up with the people that you brought together as part of that mission. And you have to be wary and you have to make those adjustments. When you don't make those adjustments, that's when the problem happens. When you cannot properly balance what your customer is saying, because call the Snyder people whatever you want to, toxic and all that. If I'm a business person whose job is to stay in business, all I see is a customer trying to give me their money. All right, and you have to be pretty stupid not to be able to make the proper adjustments to take someone's money. All right, when somebody is screaming at you with one fist and one loud mouth, but in one clutched fist they have a fistful of cash, you got to be the smartest person in the room and figure out, how do I get that cash? All right. Instead, we went from 74 billion to 46 billion and sold. You weren't taking the money. And if whatever complaints anybody from any genre has ever had about that particular group, every one of them I've known, they may have not behaved properly. For some of them, most of them did, but every single one of them wanted to hand you money, and you didn't have to do exactly what everybody was screaming and saying you should do as a production company. You still have to make the decisions you make, but if you want to make the money, you have to meet your customer halfway. You have to set the stage in a way that makes them feel like I'm investing my hours, time, and money into something that's not going to be an absolute and abject waste of time. And that's the problem that DC had prior to this. And it's a problem that I think may be going away. And I think tonight we should be celebrating the fact that we're hearing things, the voices that we've been hearing in our head for 6 years, we're not hearing from The Rock. So now The Rock is the voice in my head now. And his voice sounds better than mine, so I'll take it. All right, let's see. It's funny how people trash talk She-Hulk. The finale is about her taking. Well, yeah, and you know what? In all fairness, when it comes to She-Hulk, that is She-Hulk. This show was true to She-Hulk, especially the John Byrne version of She-Hulk. So yeah, let's see. Dude, I hate this. If the rumor is true that Ben Affleck has signed a contract to be the Batman of DCU, would be amazing. Crossing my fingers, hoping we can get that standalone Batman movie. Like I said, maybe. I think there's to tell you what. After next week, and we see, if people support this movie as much as they want to support any of this, we have a better chance of getting any of that stuff than we do. There's no reason why Ben Affleck still looks great. Why we can't get a movie with him in it. Especially if, like I said, if The Rock is the advocate for all this, and we give him a win, we give The Rock, as far as our support goes, he can now take back to David Zaslav and whoever is running DC Films and said, this is what they said they wanted for 6 years. We gave it to them as much as we possibly could. We didn't give them everything. We met what we were hearing as much, and this is how it turned out. Exhibit A. Exhibit A. Now, this is what I want to do. He's going to have a lot more credibility walking into that corner suite with a win for Black Adam, because it will have what's the word I'm looking for? When something is proven right, I know the word.
Well, it'll have more gravitas for one.
It will be vindication for all the things that we've been trying to get, and it'll be vindication for him as well. I mean, we have it's not just us anymore, and that's the cool thing about it. We don't have to do all the talking anymore. Not that our voices ever meant anything in these corporate bigwigs, but they listen to The Rock, and they listen to money, and he can cover both of those bases. So I hope Ben Affleck comes back. I 6 months ago I would have been like 50-50. Now I'm still at 50-50, but I'm a lot more positive. I'm probably at like 51-49 now, because of the environment that the response to this has and can have. Everything is on the table as far as I'm concerned. I don't know in what order. I don't know how much and to what degree, but everything is on the table now if we can support this movie and it does well and it's good. If we can hit a trifecta and the movie is good, we support it and it makes money and it creates the type of conversation that we haven't had in a long time. Anything you guys want is on the table. Now, I'm not guaranteeing you, because some of our wishes are, be honest with you, it's been so long that we may never get some of these things. To be honest with you, we may never get a resolution to the dark which is fun.
I was telling Stella the other night. I said, look, I've been away from DC for a very long time. I haven't really been on with the new stuff that has come out. I've seen some of them, but I haven't really been all that interested. And I was telling Stella, I said, look, if they want to bring me back, they're starting on the right foot. We got We got Henry coming back in this cameo for Black Adam. If we get the Trinity in the Flash, I'm on board. I'm finally back with DC.
Yeah. Let me turn this on real quick. We got hot real quick.
It shows some good faith finally, in my opinion.
Yeah, and good faith goes a long way. A good faith gesture. Oh wow. Let me do this. See, I have my camera. A good faith. Can you guys hear me? Is there anything in the background that's overwhelming?
No, you're good.
A good faith gesture goes a long way, man. Like I said, I think we're in a good spot. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And I cannot wait till next Wednesday and Thursday to see even though I know we all know what's going to happen. Listen, I knew Andrew Garfield was coming back as Spider-Man. I knew Tobey Maguire was coming back as Spider-Man. And half the people that were in the theater that we rented out knew that it was going to happen. It was the worst kept secret in the whole world. And that changed nothing. When Andrew Garfield comes through there, that portal, and takes his mask off, and you see that it's him, I shit you not. There were people in our crowd, and you can ask RJ this if he's listening. We had people. The reaction. We had people in tears, man. And when Tobey Maguire comes through, we all knew that was happening. That didn't stop us from being. It did not stop it from being special. And I think that this when we finally get a chance, it won't be to that degree because Spider-Man has been in and out. I mean, but for us that have been languishing and wondering what the next step was for DC Films, this is going to be a special moment, whether you know it's coming or not. When you finally see it real on the screen, and all your buddies are going to be there with you cheering it on. When you hear that reaction, I cannot wait to hear the reaction to seeing Cavill in full blown right on your screen. And from that point on, that's the energy I want to take forward. That happy energy is what I want to take onto the next DC project. And he's allowed us to do it. So we can have it all. But we got to be careful. We got to let The Rock do the heavy loading. Don't trash and bomb other things that are not. If something doesn't go 100% our way, don't bomb people. Don't review bomb other movies. Don't hashtag bomb people. If you felt that you needed to do that kind of stuff because we didn't have a voice in the room, I don't approve of it, but I can somewhat understand. You don't have to do that anymore. We have a voice at the table that has clearly said that he's advocating for us as much as he can. Let him fight this. Don't make our fan base look stupid by some of the dumb stuff that we've done. We have a voice in the room now, and nobody's going to handle it better than him. We're not going to be able to exude the power that he's going to be able. Nobody's going to be able to walk into a meeting and get listened to like he did. All right, none of us fans like that. He's listening to us. He's listened to us. Let him take it from here. Let's dial it back on the hate. Let's dial it back on the, he betrayed us and sell out. Dial it back. We've got a guy in the room. Our guy. He's our guy now. All right? And he's proven it. He's not just saying, I hear you.
And look, let me say this too. Stop thinking Zach is the only person that can save this. Okay? Zach is a director. I don't understand this obsession with Zack Snyder. I like his movies. Don't get me wrong. I love the 300. I love Watchmen. I love, Dawn of the Dead. I love his stuff. But he's just a director, people. There are so many other people that can do that job. And these characters are there. And these characters can be fit into other people's stories. It doesn't just have to be it doesn't just have to be Zach.
Yeah.
So stop it with the weird simping for Zach, because this has nothing to do with DC anymore. This has to do with some weird connection to Zack Snyder that he isn't even paying attention to. He's doing his own thing over at Netflix now.
And that doesn't mean he can't come back. But here's the thing. Even Zach, when he created these characters, he created a basis and other directors and other storytellers were telling those stories. James Wan was riding alongside him as he was developing Aquaman. Patty Jenkins, same way. These machetes, they were all alongside him. He never meant for himself, that's what I understand it, to be the end all be all and there all the time. He had his story to tell, and he was setting the universe on its direction for whatever they wanted to do. Now, as far as the biggest problem with the whole Zack Snyder situation has nothing to do with Zack Snyder, but everything to do with that other regime. And the reason why is because there's been no resolution to what he started. The reason why this got worse and worse and it festered and festered and festered is because we were cut off and we never got the resolution. And that not having that resolution grew into a giant monster. And it became a snowball that turned into an avalanche. And it's all because of them. Yeah, the fans are responsible for themselves, extremists that should have handled themselves better. But the situation was created by the lack of resolution. And that is when it's like the lone gunman theory when it comes to JFK. There's a lot of stuff we don't know about that, but there's never been any real evidence produced other than Lee Harvey Oswald. But we can't accept, because of the lack of information, we can't accept that a nobody like Oswald could kill the most important man in the world. Because
that's the thing, though. We need to stop. I think the biggest problem we have as fans is speculation. We over speculate everything. We don't seem to be happy. And I'm even throwing myself into this too somewhat. I don't do it all the time, but I have done it. We overanalyze and over speculate and tear things apart and we don't just let them be what they are. I mean, there's too many of us now that are armchair critics. And it's like, no, just let a product be what it is. You don't have to tear it apart for every little damn thing, man. Like, why a lot of people a lot of the people that were unhappy with She-Hulk were unhappy because they tore it apart. They didn't take it for what it was. It was light extemporaneous comedy. Okay. And we do this, like, I see it every time we review a movie. I see it every time. Like, we can't just say, hey, you know what? I like this movie. I'm not saying you and I in general, William, because you and I are like, hey, we like this or we don't like this. But like, I think we way overanalyze, and it takes the fun out of these movies. For the longest time, I avoided being on Poindexter Lounge because all we would do is rehash the same DC stuff all the time on the late night shows. And I think we tore into it way too much. I think that we just need to sit back and be fans again. And that's the problem. Not a lot of us are being fans anymore. We're putting too many expectations on things.
Yeah, both financially and spiritually. And I think that's where I hope that Black Adam opens a doorway for us to be fans and have fun again. I think the pressure that that we're never going to get heard, and the hopelessness that nobody's listening to us, and they're just continuing to green light one dumb idea after another. Now we can kind of sit back and say, okay, this is different. Let me
okay. For like example, one more thing I've got to say about the whole situation is, the Restore the Snyder Cut movement was both a good idea and a bad idea. Okay. It was a good idea in the fact that, yes, Zack needed to finish his vision for Justice League because he did get screwed out of it because of the tragedy in his life. But it was bad in a way because it sets a precedent. And now people think that they have to do this for everything. We have to fight every little bit of diversity. We can't just enjoy movies. We have to fight for what we want in something, and we can't just let a creative be a creative,
Well, when it comes to the Snyder Cut, I think what you had was an extraordinary situation, not with just a movie. What they did when they truncated that movie, they destroyed their own universe and left us all just hanging. And in the absence of a next step, I think it would be a precedent if it wasn't an extraordinary situation. But it also, if they would have had a kick-ass thing in place of what they disrupted, they would have shut a lot of us up. Because the general public, which outweighs us by a lot, would have pretty much stepped on us. All right, they're not. If they would have put out something that 97% of the people who go to see these movies that aren't geeks like us would have said, "Wow, that's kick-ass! Holy shit! Did you just see that? oh, I got to go tell my uncle, my grandfather, my dog, and my turtle about what I just saw. They didn't
Yeah.
do that. And in that void, it allowed the mushrooms to grow. Now, I'm not condoning some of the mushrooms and what they did, but the onus was on the production company and Warner Brothers to not have that gap there for as long as they did.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that to an extent, but I think it's far exceeding what that was all about. I think everybody's trying to do it with everything now. I hear the same complaining with Star Wars. I see the same complaining with Marvel. I see, it just seems like to me as fans, we're demanding way too much.
But here's the thing that you just named off two good examples of companies that would never happen to that degree, because those companies at the time of their people starting that shit had good leadership that said, hey, shut up. We'll meet you halfway. We understand that you're there. We're going to tell our story. See,
Exactly.
the problem with DC is you wouldn't have even had to have a Snyder Cut if you'd had that leadership in place.
Right. And I just want to address Fourth in the chat just really quick. Fourth, I understand wanting to be analytical, but we are way overly analytical, and you can't compare every movie to the great films you've seen. If you take every movie and expect every movie to be the greatest thing you've ever seen or compared to the greatest things you've ever seen, just stop watching movies, because not everything is going to be The Godfather.
Yeah.
Not everything is going to be Goodfellas. Not everything is going to be those great movies.
There's a lot of Halloween ends out there. By the way, it's time to end Halloween.
Look, I haven't watched it yet. I'm about to watch it. I've been watching them with Stella. We just finished Halloween 2018 tonight before the show, so I've got to get her through Kills, and then we're gonna watch Ends. So
you're gonna torture that woman with Kills, and then you're gonna sadomasochist her with Halloween. Oh wow! Hey Stella, on behalf of the Sci-Fi Center Live and the Poindexter Loud, I'm apologizing for what Dave is about to put you through. We do not condone such treatment of your fellow human being. All right, Rational Skeptic William. Apparently, Ta-Nehisi Coates said his Superman film is still happening. What do you think? I'm going to say no, because right now The Rock has the room. The Rock has the room with an established Superman. I'm not saying it's never going to happen at some point. I'm just saying it's not going to happen now. I don't think it's a good idea for it to happen, to be honest with you. You have the guy that we waited for, the guy that everybody's wanted. You have the MILF magnet right there. You have The Rock backing the MILF magnet, his own MILF magnet, backing another MILF magnet. You have this other universe that we've already established that we could still make a shit ton of money out of. I wouldn't start with a new anything right now. The only thing
hold on, William. I've got to readdress something Fourth said down there. I don't say you have to enjoy everything, Fourth. I just said I think we way overanalyze things.
Where's that?
I never. It's down to the bottom. I never once said you had to enjoy things that you don't enjoy. Okay, I just think that we beat things to death with a very long stick, and we need to not do that.
On that point, I can't even find it. Listen, if you want to analyze something, that's not a problem. But what's happened, and I think what Dave's trying to say is that we've analyzed it to the point where we're like, our chest hurts and our head hurts, and we don't like the people around us anymore. That's where I like analyzing. Like I said, I analyzed Halloween Ends as being one of the worst movies of the decade, and I only do that analytically because of the same people who made that movie. Made Halloween 2018, which was one of the best movies horror-wise of the last decade. And I'm really shocked that those people who made that great movie, everything about Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends was good about 18 is left out of those two movies. But I moved on though. I mean, it's like, you know what? I'm done with Michael Myers anyway, because my entire life I've had Michael Myers as a killer. And now I got people trying to explain the unexplainable, which that should not be explained. The biggest thing that, and I won't spoil it for anybody, the biggest problem that Halloween Kills and Ends both have is the mystique about Michael Myers was what you didn't know, what you would never know. He was a boogeyman. That's all you needed to know.
That's how I've tried to explain it to Stella, is that's the whole mystique of Michael Myers. You're not supposed to understand why he is what he is.
Stop trying to explain. Just like Jordan Peele's Us. That movie was on its way to being an all-time classic, in my opinion. So that last 10 minutes, of them trying to give me a college course of what everything was. You could have left it at that. I would have been okay. It's all right. I've missed a lot of holy cow. Okay, so all right, so yeah, Tanakashi notes is not happening. I don't think it's happening. I could be wrong. I don't think it's happening, given the momentum and if they just want to keep the spotlight. Yes, Zazoff is the key, and apparently so is The Rock and Danny Garcia. I have no interest in this show at all. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, but I don't even have. And as a comic book dork like me, to not have a lot of knowledge and connection with that character is not looking good.
It's
for me.
it's going to be released because it's going to have Daredevil in it, and they're really wanting to push Daredevil in street level right now.
My only concern is Film Goblin. My only concern is Jeff Johns come back. All right, here's the thing, and I said this before I've done Jeff John. Jeff John is an excellent storyteller.
In the comics.
Proper supervision. If Jeff Johns has a boss over him that says, is not afraid to say no, bring this back, Jeff Johns is fine. It's when Jeff Johns becomes part of the hierarchy and he's put alongside people that can't say no or don't know what to say no to, that's where you have the problems. Jeff Johns himself will do as much as you let him do, and he will take things as far as you let him take them. If you have a boss in there that says no, like the person who said no, you're not going to take Doomsday Clock and make it another fucking reboot. If you set the parameters for any of your talent, if you hire somebody, it's up to you as the boss to set the parameters and set the fences where you want them to go and where they can't go. And you make sure that they understand that before they take that job. You know what? So when you come back to them and say, oh, we're not doing that because I remember this is not the mandate I gave you, or you didn't come to me and flesh this out, then it's not this big shock and awe thing. No, but that was the problem with Jeff Johns, is that he had a lot of free reign, and he needed editors ahead of him, and he needed producers ahead of him that said, stay on course, dude. This is your lane. This is where I need to stay. And he hasn't had that before. So Jeff Johns alone is not the problem. Jeff Johns running free in the candy store without supervision is the problem.
Exactly.
Nah, Joker was fun. Joker made good money. Listen, the only reason why you know who the Joker is because the guy with the bat on his chest. So the Joker can't be a key before the main guy that is, let's see. Most of the time, just keep DCU cinematically highbrow. No more movies that look like Black Adam or Birds of Prey or Justice League. I haven't seen Black Adam, so I mean, if I like Black Adam, I may want more movies like that. Birds of Prey was stupid. And Justice League, I will agree. Birds of Prey should have never been made. And to me, that actually hurt Harley Quinn's marketability as far as having her as a usable IP that you can draw money, because you keep putting her in movies that are either dumb or out of place. The Suicide Squad, I like the Suicide Squad, but it was an out-of-place movie. Now, knowing what we know about Superman and the possibility of the other DC standard characters coming back, now you have an atmosphere where a Suicide Squad movie makes more sense. It can actually gain more energy. Just releasing it like they did, and when they did, I think really hurt that movie. Even though, yeah, people say, oh, COVID this, COVID that. Other movies made decent money. Suicide Squad didn't make good money, even by COVID standards, given what they spent on it and the marketing campaign they went on.
It's really funny, though. I liked that last Suicide Squad movie.
I did too. And I had a chance to meet James Gunn and because I with Lloyd Kaufman and all these other guys. And the thing about James Gunn, that people and any other filmmaker or storyteller, is that he's judged on the only thing that they've seen. They think everything is going to be slapstick comedy or forced jokes. He did what he was asked to do in those movies. If you give him a Superman or Batman movie, and I know people will not believe this, to me, a storyteller is a storyteller. If you give him a mandate, yeah, you can have some humor in there, but I need you to do this. He showed me the dimensions in Peacemaker that he can go to those places, that he can evolve a character in that way. So if you would release Birds of or the Suicide Squad in the proper context, like right now, would have been the perfect time. After Black Adam and before Shazam would have been a perfect time to drop that movie in there. And would have probably done really well. Off the heels of Black Adam and seeing Superman in there, You got Viola Davis again. You got you just get that energy going. But they released it, and without, and that's when people tell you that not everything needs to be a connected movie, a connected universe. These particular set of IPs and the storylines that they're telling currently definitely need to be connected. They draw off of each other's energy and momentum. And Suicide Squad is a perfect example of that. All right. So, yeah, highbrow. Yeah. Like I said, 2 of those movies are awful, but the jury's out. I mean, I may like Black Adam to the point where hey, Rock even more. So, all right, Film Goblin. Zack Snyder was giving us post-crisis characters, but people didn't like that. Okay. I think that the will had been poisoned, not by Marvel, because they didn't do anything but make their movies. But I think fans wanted to look at, and this is The Rock. The Rock kind of hit on this one, that second part of that interview. Fans wanted to view DC storytelling through a Marvel lens. And people are always, well, that's what they should, because Marvel's setting the stage. No, fuck you, all right? Nobody sets the stage for DC Comics. And if you take that mentality, you are a failure, all right? If you take you can admire Marvel's success, and you can admire Marvel's business structure and all that. But the content of their storyline, to say that you have to do it in the same way that they've done it, if I would have heard you and I was a guy interviewing you, you're fired before you even finish your first interview. I don't want you around. And now we got a guy who's like in The Rock who's saying, let's let DC be DC. And we've never had a management structure that would have done that. And not only that, we had a group of bonehead fans that were never going to see DC movies that wanted to basically make everybody else view DC's special stories and unique place of where they're coming from. They wanted to view that through a Marvel lens. You've already ruined your own time at the movies. If you can't come to a DC movie, sit down and watch it for what DC's strong points are, then you just donate your money to me. Donate it to charity. Because all you're going to do is you're either going to lie and say you saw the movies and be one of these marks, or you're going to go to the movie with a mentality that you're already going to be dissatisfied. So I think that 2013 to 2016 goofball mentality that created that environment, I think that was more of a role to play than what people, because I don't even think people knew what they wanted or not. They were letting other people tell them what they wanted. So that is why when you look at the characters that Film Guy is talking about here, you look at them and people look at them now in a much more positive light. They're the same damn characters that were there then. We're just not dealing with all this Marvel versus DC kindergartners, don't cross my street mentality. That's kind of settled down. And now we're just looking for these movies to be good. And now we have an environment that people are looking at Zack Snyder's Justice League in a positive light. People are having more of a favorable view about Man of Steel. People are starting to want guys like Ben Affleck back as Batman. Now we're excited about the same thing that they talk shit about for years, because it's almost like we've outgrown that infantile stage. The fans have to a certain extent for most part, and so has management now. We now have people that understand that DC is its own animal. It has to be fed its own way. It has to be treated its own way, and its fans have to be taken care of in a different way. Admire Marvel and MCU all you want to. Marvel is not DC. DC is not Marvel. And I love the way The Rock put that. Maybe now hearing it from them, people will finally listen after 9 years. All right, so let's see. I am my anticipation. Thanks for joining, Aaron. My anticipation for Black Adam is growing with each passing day.
We have a super chat from Fourth down there near the bottom of the chat.
Oh yeah! Wow! Holy mackerel! Oh, we have bots too. Somebody get rid of the bots, or do I need to do it? I feel honored to have the presence of the bots. I'm getting to you, Fourth. I just got to make sure there's not bots in the room because,
The mods got the bots.
Okay, thank you, mods.
William.
All right.
Stella and Shree are on it.
Thank you, both of you guys. All right. Oh, wow. Where the fuck is he? Oh, damn. Very active chat tonight. Thank you guys for that. Fourth 1,000 was $5. Thank you for supporting the show. James Gunn told the same story 3 times. Aliens take over human bodies, create hive mind armies, slither. Yeah, but all right. first, and I'm guilty, and I know you just hate me for this. It's a proven formula, and it's fun. And if you
Dude,
know,
people have been telling those stories for years.
remember
Body
we just talked about
Snatchers,
Cold War.
The
We just talked about
Thing.
that Sunday, right?
Yeah, Body Snatchers, The Thing. Even Aliens, to an extent, is an alien life form taking over human forms.
But it's how you do it. It's the tone. What he did with Slither was way different than he did with. It's sort of on the same line with Peacemaker, but there was a superhero story in there. Because I've seen all the stuff you're talking about. But and even with Starro's been around since the 50s, man. And that's a story that you keep going back to because it works. If you do it
Starro
right,
the Conqueror.
yeah. And I thought that he was underserved. I did not think that he was going to, dude. That line in the Suicide Squad where I was happy floating, looking at the stars, right at the end before Starro dies. I had to sit back and think about what that quote meant. And he put more thought into Starro than a lot of comic book writers have done in the last 20 years.
I actually like that he kind of made you feel for Starro a little bit because, like you said, all I was doing was out there floating in the stars.
And you evil pieces of shit dragged me down here and made me this monster. And now they killed him, and they're like, well, we had no choice, but they were put into position. And so, yes, you were right. It is and you'll probably see it 1,000 more times by 1,000 more people, maybe even James Gunn. But there's a context to that story. Like with Suicide Squad, it was a redemption of certain characters and evolution of a particular story arc, and showing you just how piece of garbage just mankind is. Because remember, the people in the movie, the humans, were much more awful than Starro was. And then Peacemaker. Peacemaker to me is more about the aliens. Yeah, that backdrop is there, the aliens taking over and all that. Peacemaker to me is a group of people who have lived their lives a certain way, and they don't like the way they look back and reflect on their lives, and they don't like it, and they want to change. They're using this story that they're in to change. Harcourt wants to change. Chris, Peacemaker, wants to change. Diebeard wants things to change. They all are so into their jobs and what they were doing prior to coming together that they didn't really take a look at these lives that they were living, and they just realized they wanted something better. And to me, that was what Peacemaker was about. Not just the grasshoppers, the butterflies, and the aliens. It was about the evolution of these people trying to get to be better than they started out with. Peacemaker, from episode 1 to episode 8 or 9, however it lasted, was a drastically different character. Harcourt was a drastically different character. You actually sympathize with Diebeard's character. I forgot his name, but you know what I'm talking about. When he's talking about, hey, why do you dye your beard? Because I thought the chicks would buy. Every nerd and every geek that's ever been made fun of could relate to that guy in that time. So yes, you're right. They're 100% right. But it's not as simple as that. There's a story there wrapped in there. If you have a basic story, the old trope that's been used a thousand times, but you find a way to make it yours, that to me is talent. How many mob movies are about the same thing happening? But we go to see these mob movies because each time that they're done, if they're done right, it's a different thing. The same guy some people getting whacked, a brother turning on another brother, somebody talking, an informant being killed, a new Don taking over. It's a tired old trap if the movie is not done well, but you could do it 1,000 times if the movie is done well. So I understand what you're saying, but I'm okay with that as long as it's done well. Now, if it sucks, then you only notice it really bad when the movie's not good at all. So thank you, Force 1000. Thank you for constantly supporting me on the I'm all over the place now. Birds of Prey suffered from interference. Margot Robbie and Jeff Johns took over. Yeah, I heard this, and once again, bad leadership begets bad leadership. Margot Robbie had not produced a lot. She's not the type of filmmaker that the kind of power that she got. And once again, Jeff Johns has the nuts and bolts to tell you a good story, but he needs supervision. That's why whenever I see director's cuts of anything, most director's cuts suck. And there's a reason why that very talented producer editor cut something out of a movie. It's not always the case, but you need oversight. Having talent enough to tell a story doesn't mean that your story doesn't need to be edited and cut around
But when it comes to their case, you know, they had too much rain. Yeah, I mean, you know, from what I can tell, Black Adam, it's got the same slow motion stuff that a lot of people complain about, but the trailers, you know, could have been better, could have been more trailers, but even all that, I'm ready. I'm hyped. I'm ready to take the next happy step. I'm ready to do my happy dance. All right, Chappie, but I really hope the 10-year plan that we can get Zack Snyder Justice League Part 2 and 3. I just want to, yeah, like I said, I've always said this, and this is what makes me different than the people who just want Zack to come back and take over everything. I just want you to finish what you started. I bought into what you sold me. I'm in. I paid the money, and I loved it. I just want to see the end of it. And I think as a company, finishing what you started builds goodwill with your customer. All right? I don't need 30 movies from Zack Snyder. I just want this to see how this story ends. I want to see that final battle with Darkseid, the parademons, and the armies of Earth. I want to see the Green Lantern fighting alongside with them. I want to see the true formation of the Justice League the way he meant it. And I think not only if these things are done, they strengthen everything that Dwayne Rock Johnson is doing now. If you're really solidifying the ground on which he walks by finishing. You're taking a character, Superman, and you're strengthening that character for him, and that makes that so much more valuable for him to use for the future going forward. Anybody who wants to do anything with Batman, an extended universe Batman, you are strengthening the ground that director or that filmmaker, whether it's Ben Affleck or anybody else, wants to do. Same thing with Wonder Woman. By finishing that original arc, however, the 2 movies, you are strengthening your product. And I wish they would understand it. And I hope over the next decade, I hope it doesn't take 2 years. I hope it happens. I don't know if it's going to happen. But I tell you what, your odds are better now than they ever were. Your odds are way better. All the people who told you to let go and move on, all right, if you look and hear those faces and those voices sound awful like the same faces and voices of the people who told you that the Snyder Cut was never going to happen, and that Superman was done as Cavill, or Cavill was done as Superman. So don't listen to those people anymore. Yeah. So yeah, I'm on board with you, Chappie. All right. Exactly. And a producer should take and oversee all of it. Jeff Johns should outline a plot. Real screenwriter. Exactly. 100%. The way I took it, they tried to make him the embodiment of evil, and it wasn't just the mysterious man in the shadows, this unstoppable force. Now evil dies tonight. I'm like, when we left that movie, we were mocking that movie. We're all screaming, "Evil dies tonight." So did my 2 hours wasted in this movie.
Dude, the only thing that I liked about Halloween Kills, to be honest with you, was that was the highest body count in any slasher movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
There are 49 kills in that movie. 49.
Okay, but and here's the thing, and you know I am here for the violence. But it became so cartoonish and stupid that they meant nothing. It wasn't even.
Well, but
the
you
art
do
of
realize
it was not even there for me. You know?
you do realize though what that movie was trying to be. It was a meta. It was a meta. It was a meta take on what's going on in society right now, with everybody like making this mob mentality that we've done here lately with the media and everything else.
Yeah, but see, Michael Myers doesn't belong in that. That's the thing. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, but you have to understand though, it's the meta commentary on what was going on. They were all like, they had all just had it with this Myers problem for 40 years. You know, they didn't want to be afraid anymore. So it's a meta commentary on what everybody's afraid of right now.
Evil dies tonight. I'm like, oh my god.
Now, did they overdo it with the Evil dies tonight? Of course they did. But like, but how is that any? But how is that? How is that any different? How is that any different than hearing a bunch of people go, "This is woke, that is woke, this is," like everybody's got to be against something right now.
They ain't being killed by a fool in a white Captain Kirk mask that you can't stop. Most of those people would have, if that would have been a real life, and that, especially at the end of Halloween Kills, Dude, you know how fucking fast I'm running from all that shit? After the first 3 or 4 people strike out and they don't get the result that they're looking for, I'm gone.
It
I'll
was
see you
also
guys.
it was also meta commentary forth on mob mentality.
Woo, wow, okay. Look, I need to flush that movie out of my head. Chappie, William and Thade. What do you think about what's the deal on J.J. Abrams and his company Bad Robot not doing anything at DC Films and television despite signing a contract? I got 1 or 2 theories about that. I think that he just bought him out of his contract. He did some things, and they're just going to buy him out as part of the debt that they assumed when they acquired the company. That contract was done by their predecessors, and it's one of the things that they could they probably assumed it as part of the debt since it was an outstanding contract. That counts as debt for them. So that contract has already pretty much been done. They're just not going to have them do anything. They're not going to lose out on it because it wasn't, they've already written it off as a loss. They're going to get their tax break for that contract. And they'll probably do some stuff with them because they can only write off so much of it. But that whole $500 million contract, he's done some stuff to earn some money from it. But as far as everything else goes, he's probably going to get the bulk of that money. But a lot of it is going to come on the back end of a write-off or a loss. So they've already absorbed the loss. So as part of the merger, they've already absorbed a lot of their outgoing contracts. That's why when people say they don't have money to do things, they've already spent that money. So that money's gone. The money in the market is gone. All the money that they were going to take a bath on, that money's gone. So they really don't have to do anything with him. Now, he's still obligated to produce things for them, but if they can't reach an agreement that those are things that they want to produce, then they've met their obligation, and the contract will eventually dissolve. So yeah, I think the contract is pretty much for the most part been taken care of by the fact that it was absorbed as a loss, and they'll try to make as much out of it as they can, but the math just doesn't hurt them at this point. And I don't think they're under any pressure from that $500 million contract to be like, we got to produce something because we paid this guy. I think they've just written it off. And it's just not in the direction if he's not producing things. It looks like to me, judging from what I've seen the last 3 or 4 days and judging from the enthusiasm of The Rock, is that even if he's not running everything, they're going in that direction. They are putting the bulk of their resources, time and money and effort in that direction. And I don't think they have time for Ta-Nehisi Coates or what J.J. Abrams and stuff is doing. I think they are going in that direction. And I think they're going to they're going to hitch their horses to that trailer. All right. Oh, you won't be disappointed with Halloween Ends then, because horror. Come on, dude. Everybody did. I mean, and I remember when I said back when we first heard that there was a very good possibility that he was going to be in the movie. I was on Point Extra Lounge and everywhere I could go saying Warner Brothers needs to be the one to leak that damn trailer. You need to pull a Sony and be like, oh wow, did I drop that? Gee, I hope no one sees that. I mean, because look what we're talking about now. We are talking about Black Adam and conference. Now we have that and we have the good reviews. They've greased the skids for a win here. So I'm glad. I mean, it's hard spoiling something that was a horribly kept secret. That probably, be honest with you, if I was running shit, not only would it not have been hidden, that shit's in the trailers. That shit is Cable's in the trailer. I don't hide my MILF magnets. I'm putting all my MILF magnets on the table. If I got Momoa, MILF magnets going on the table. If I got The Rock, MILF magnets going on the table. If I got Cable, I'm putting the full house. All right, I'm calling everybody. I'm putting all my cards on the table, and I'm getting you amped. I'm making sure that you go see that movie, whether you know the ending or not. You get to. There's nothing like seeing it on that big screen, and trust me, the MILFs are going to Black Adam. The MILFs are going to Aquaman. All right, and we got another one in there, Ben Affleck. He's a MILF. He's a MILF magnet. Granted, he got the ultimate MILF. A MILF we have, instead of MILF being moms, I'd like to, it should be ML zero chance. MILF, I have no chance of. None of us have a chance of J-Lo. None of us have a chance at that. But Ben Affleck still attracts the women and their kids. So I would have leaked it. In fact, like I said, Superman would have been in the damn poster, but that's just me. All right, Knucklehead Regime, listen to Bonehead fans. Like I'm liking the language today. Yeah, sorry. And like I said, most of those guys that made the noise back in that era, we're talking about from 2013 to 2016, they were blowing smoke. They were never going to see these movies. And even if they did see the movies, they were hate watching. Which, by the way, what the hell is hate watching? There's too much shit to do and not enough oxygen left in the day, not enough heartbeats left in the day, not enough time on this planet to do all that we need to do. Why are you watching something you know you hate?
I had to listen to something. Somebody complained about that on Twitter earlier about She-Hulk. I'm like, 9 episodes of hate watching. Just so what? I said, you're not missing anything. If you didn't want to watch it, you can pick and choose with MCU. And they were like, no, we got to watch every little thing because we're going to miss something. I said, no, there's enough people on YouTube that you could run through a synopsis with to find out what's going on with the show, that you don't have to sit there and hate watch the thing. People are just obsessed.
Yeah.
People are just obsessed with the fucking negative these days. And that's what I meant by earlier. We overanalyze everything. Like, we have to tear something apart. It's like an imperative, we have to tear these things apart because well, everybody else seems to hate it, so I've got to attack it. Rah! And that's just pathetic in my opinion. I'm sorry. It's if you don't want to watch, if you don't like something, don't fucking waste your time. Like, you don't have to be there. Like
all the stuff that I am backed up on watching, I'm not going to spend 1 minute on something I don't like. All right. The trailer showed Jamie Lee Curtis, an excellent shot with her guns. Myers finally. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have some people who loved it. I was in not a Twitter war, but a Facebook conversation with somebody who's like, you don't understand the true nature of Michael Myers and Halloween. What? I was there, son. I was there, 25, 30-year-old. I was there for the original Halloween. Scared me into nightmares. I was there when Halloween made it so this how old was I then? I was 7 years old. Halloween 2 scared the hell out of me. I could not sleep. Hospitals was like, what? I'm not ever going to the hospital again. And I told my mom, I don't care if I get hurt. Don't take me to the hospital, because did you see what Michael Myers did? That fool killed. You want to talk about body count? That fool killed 21 people in the hospital.
Dude, 49 people at Halloween Kills. 49.
Like,
the only bigger body count on screen ever in a horror movie was Hellraiser 3: Hell on Earth. And that was the nightclub scene.
I remember that. I remember having Doug Bradley. I sat right next to him on our stage at the Sci-Fi Center. He did audio commentary for Hellraiser 3. I got pictures of that. I have
207 bodies. 207 bodies. We counted.
He counts too. He counted
too.
Yeah.
We slowed down a Blu-ray copy of that movie frame by frame to count the number of bodies. We had to do the count 4 times. There were 207 dead bodies in that nightclub in Hellraiser 3.
C+? Wow. Okay. Hey. All right. What is okay, what did I miss here? No, sorry, Will, I misread it. It's very appropriate. What did you say, Sheree? Oh, what does that button do?
Yeah.
What did I miss?
No, she was saying that you were appropriate. Something you were saying a couple of minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm happy, man. I'm happy when it comes to. Not happy about my sporting events because the Lakers are pissing me off. The Kings are due to disappoint me this year in NHL, and the Dodgers. Oh boy, I may not be.
Dude,
I may not be on there tomorrow.
My favorite sports teams have been disappointing me for so long, I've just given up hope.
But here's the thing with the Dodgers is like, even though I hope for the best, it's like I am always braced for utter disappointment and failure no matter how many games that they win in the season. They find a way to kick me right in the nuts. Just when I think, you don't have your foot ready to drive your foot right into my nads, and then you got me. You had me hoping. I didn't wear the cup because of that, and then you got me. and looks like they're about to try to get me again. So now they found a way to not score any runs against the Madres, an 89-win team. So now we have a win or go home game tomorrow. Yay. But like I said, I'm already ready to move on. I mean, the Dodgers disappointing. They disappoint me more than they ever come through. But, hey, I got a World Series out of it. So, at least I'm not a Cubs fan having to wait 100 years. Yeah, people have too much time in their hands. Someone send these people to watch my kids and do my job so I can watch something I love. Yeah, man. I mean, dude, I got stuff on my queue on Netflix and all these other shows that people have been saying, William, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. And I'm trying to get to those. I am not going to watch some shit that I hate just to not like it. Fuck that.
Well,
news.
it's like for me, for instance, I tried the first 2 episodes of Rings of Power, and I was like, okay, this is boring the hell out of me. I'm not going to watch it until it's all out, and then I can just, one afternoon when I've actually got the time, I can sit and watch through it. But like, I stopped after that second episode. Actually, halfway through the second episode, I was just like, okay.
And I was getting my news from She-Hulk, a lot of it from John Campea, who tapped out. He just stopped. He used to do an after show. He just said, I just don't like the show, and I'm not going to do an after show of a show I don't like. At least he was honest with me. He's like, and he's like, hey, I know some of you guys like it. It just wasn't for me. And you know what? That's where we have to be these days. Listen, I thought Halloween Kills and Halloween's End was a disappointment, and it just wasn't. They weren't very good movies. But that's just my opinion. I sat next to people who were thrilled about it and liked it. And C score is not an F score. So that's like half the people. That means half the people who saw it liked it. I just wasn't one of those that had, man.
Look, man. Look, seriously, the only reason I go and watch slasher flicks, and this has been my whole life, I go and watch it to shut my brain off for a couple hours. I don't really think too much about what's going on with the story anymore because all I'm there for is the 3Ds, man. I'm there for the death, dismemberment, and destruction.
And the 14-year-old me, let's be honest, we were there for titties. Sorry, the 14-year-old me was watching R-rated movies as we were growing through all those issues, and we knew that we was guaranteed. And the film, we had this connection with the filmmaker, right?
Yeah, you know what I realized? One of my favorite Friday the 13th movies has no boobies in it.
There's such a film? This is blasphemy.
Yeah, Part 6. One of my favorite Friday the 13th movies, Part 6, does not have any boobs in it.
I watched that one. That's the one with Horshack in it. Arnold Horshack from
yeah, he gets his heart. He gets his
stick, and the lightning.
And he gets his heart ripped out. Yeah, but no, that movie has no boobs in it at all.
Oh, I'm gonna have to protest this. I saw that. That was 1986. I saw that in the movies.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite Friday the 13th movies. Like literally one of my favorite.
Remember the song Alice Cooper? He's back.
Yeah.
I love that, and he had Jason in the video. All right, let's see. Part 3. That was a new. Jason Lives, right? Jason Lives. Yeah. There had to be some TNA in there. It's not a Friday the 13th movie.
There's no TNA in that movie, dude.
You missed it, Dave.
No, dude. I've rewatched it twice now recently, and there are no boobs in that movie.
Version.
No, I did not watch the G-rated version. There are no boobs in that movie.
Parents Guide. Let's see. Sex and nudity. All right, here we go. A woman wearing an oversized shirt straddling a man in bed moaning, but no nudity is shown. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's implied sex.
Sweatpants and a crop top.
There's implied sexuality, but there is no sex, except for the one like bouncing around. And then there's no boobies. There's no visible boobs in that movie.
What the hell? I thought that was contractually obligated for a Friday the 13th movie. Because there are times in Friday the 13th movie where there's TNA that just don't fit. But they said, listen, we made our promise to you that every one of these movies, here you go. We're going to
Oh, by the way, since you're also a fellow horror aficionado, you realize that Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is an LGBT wet dream, right?
I was too young for all that.
It's an allegory for homosexuality. The director even came out and said it.
Oh, I heard about that. I did hear about that. You know what? That guy was down here. The guy who did that and it was actually down in my plaza at one of the stores in my plaza.
Yeah.
Signed an autograph, so I do remember all that. Man, let's see. We take Friday the 13th Part 6 off of the rewatch queue. No, I'm just kidding. That's weird. But yeah, that was actually a pretty good one. That was one of the better ones. But yeah, as you notice though, every Friday the 13th, for absolutely no legit reason at all, had a chick stripping down naked to jump in the water in a camp that she's never been to. Let's go ahead and forget about the killer that's killed tons of people.
Yeah.
Half of them while they're having sex. Let's just forget about that. You just met these fucking people. You were just talking about, wow, I'm glad to meet you all. I hope we bond over the summer. You just met these people and you're stripping down. Oh, there's a lake. Let's go swim. Don't you want to go swim? What the hell?
Yeah.
That was okay. We had an understanding.
Yeah, but there was also like, dude, legitimately though, that was the 80s. Come on. Everybody was stripping down with new people they met, running into lakes.
I'm sorry. If I know that people have died in a certain place, we're not fucking there, okay? Sorry to get demonetized, Enosh. If that we are not fucking in a place where 20, 30 people have died. We are not getting down in a bed. We are not getting down in a bed that somebody else died. That in 3 previous movies, somebody got a spear put through them in that bed. You want to bang somebody in that bed? We're not even taking our shoes off at this camp. All right? I'm not in the mood. I don't think I can get it going. You know, knowing that he's gonna kill me. This is not happening. I'm like, hey, let's go somewhere private. No, why? Because you know what? You're next. When I hear the words, they start grabbing each other's ass and they start looking at each other and they're like looking at them and it's too crowded here. Let's go to somewhere where we can just be together. That's to me putting lipstick on their face and saying we're fucking next. We're about to die. So no, and I'm like, but we had an agreement. I'm suspending belief. But like I said, you're getting that you can get horny there.
Especially since the main legend of the killer is that he died while the camp counselors were getting down.
Exactly. That alone means we ain't doing it. Tell you what, I'm attracted to you. You're hot. As soon as we're done here in the woods, we get to a hotel or not a hotel. We get somewhere safe where people don't traditionally get killed while they're having intercourse. We'll get it on there. We're not doing it in the cabinet. No.
Hey, let's just go ahead and roll into Forest Green and catch a hotel room.
Yeah. You know what? And like I said, listen, I'm a child of the city. I don't camp. You know how there's a final girl that's always in the Jason movies? There's a final girl that escapes until the next movie. I'm going to be the final guy. Because as soon as first sign of some shit going down, I'm fucking gone.
Well, and
first person that turns up missing, and we can't find them after a while, and they're not, we got this little ass camp, and we find their top, or we find their bloody whatever. If I find any of your garments and it's got blood on it, I'm gone. You can come with me, or you can.
Especially in 80s movies, because the trope was always the token black guy disappears first.
Yeah, and I'm not getting out of the van. Man, Jason's going to have to come get me in the Winnebago, in the van. I'm going to have the engine running. I'm like, hey, y'all having a good time? Oh, William, why are you parked aimed towards the road? Because when shit goes down, I'm gone. Right? And if you guys can't run up and catch onto this bumper, you're dead.
I will leave you. I will leave you.
I was like, Jason Takes Manhattan? No, Jason would have died in Manhattan for real.
Dude, how about that part in Jason Takes Manhattan? Yeah. How about that part in Jason Takes Manhattan when he walks by those street toughs and they're all like, they go to attack him and he just turns around and lifts up the mask?
Yeah, and they run away. Or when the guy's fighting him and he just rips his arms. I mean, come on, dude. We got high-powered weapons, and we us city folk kill you from a distance. We don't. I'm not going to pick up a knife and an axe and come at you. Just set you on fire. All right? I'm running. I'd never seen Jason outrun anybody. They trip and they fall, and then they say, "Oh my God, my ankle!" Listen,
That's bullshit too. I don't care if you are running on a broken whatever. The adrenaline of I'm about to die
We'll make you get out of there. We'll make you get out there.
You will hop at Mach 5 on one leg if you have to.
Okay. You want to talk about one of the newer Halloween movies? How about that poor chick, the poor teenage girl in Halloween 2018 that slips because of her socks and face plants? The one that's babysitting the little boy?
Yeah. I was there when you were in diapers. Oh, wow. Yeah. I think Stella's got me by a couple of years.
Oh, no, that was Shree. That was Shree.
Oh, I think she's got me by it. She's saying I was in diapers. Personally, I've expected to work in the hater fan. Oh, I'm way back. Wow. Oh, let me.
No, but like I said.
No, Stella, we do not.
But the ladies do need some. William, we get the full frontal nudity. The ladies need some too. Tit for tat, man. Or in this case, rooster for tit.
No. I don't want the junk to become a trend.
Have you seen the movie X yet, William?
Nah. I'm behind.
Yeah. Don't, because there's one scene in there that's just going to make you want to walk away. You get a full frontal nudity.
Yeah,
you get a full frontal dude right in a doorway. And he's, well endowed. Let me just say that. It's like, boom, right there.
No, Stella, we need less.
No, they need more. The ladies need more.
Do like in the comic books where the leaves always falling in the right place. That's what we need.
Oh, come on. You said nothing about it in Watchmen when you had his big blue schwank out there.
I had a problem in the comic and the show, and I just looked at the places. But it made sense for him because he's so far beyond modesty. We're nothing to him, so he's not embarrassed to him. But I'm like, dude, and it's giant now. It's giant and it's blue. I mean,
giant blue schwank, right?
Okay, now that's not fair, Sri. Here's the thing. Certain movies that have, like I said, we have an agreement with certain movies that these are things that are just going to be in there. And we alleviate the pressure off the filmmaker because he doesn't have to make sense out of it. The girl, the hot chick, the first to die, getting naked in the first 5 minutes of the show, and then the square girl, oh, look at her, she's a slut. And obligated. It's what you've given me from Friday the 13th, 1, 2, 3, 4. Apparently there was some problems with 6, but all the other subsequent movies, even the shitty remakes, America, wherever her name is, she's in there. So there's just an agreement. Not all movies now. I mean, I don't need it. It's just the and we got to do a stream on slasher movies because there's just
we got to do it this month, William. We got to do it this month since it's the Halloween season. My question is, okay, so I know your opinion about the two most recent Halloween movies. How were you with the Rob Zombie Halloween movies?
Awful. I like Rob Zombie too. I need Rob Zombie to just stick to his own stuff that he creates because Rob Zombie is batting 0 for whatever for me. I have the Halloween movies, which I did not like.
I actually liked the first one. I don't like the second one. I like the first one.
First one was worse. And then I had that thing called The Monsters, which is bad.
Okay, so what's your favorite Rob Zombie movie?
Devil's Rejects.
Devil's Rejects?
I mean, Free from Hell is pretty good too. But here's the thing, though. Speaking of Rob Zombie, trauma movies, and Gallo movies, the nudity was part of the art of the movie. Yes, it was gratuitous, but the entire movie was gratuitous. And I think when a lot of people we've come to look at it as a negative, when a lot of those female stars really made making their bones, made a lot of money. But it was part of the movie as much as the killing was. It was part of the culture of the movie. These movies.
You're talking about giallo flicks?
Yeah, and I call them Gallo because as a kid I didn't know how to pronounce them when I first.
Well, I was raised on giallo movies because my mother was a huge horror film buff, and she was from Sicily, so some of the first horror that I ever saw was giallo.
Yeah, you know.
Stuff like Suspiria and stuff like that, you know.
What's a horror corner that has good nudity? Only throwback.
X, Pearl. The two Ty West movies, they have some good nudity. Hell, X is about porn stars. It's
now, well, the reason why it's a throwback now because we've lost our edge for certain things. Those movies, we don't look at it as the art form that it was. We look at it as a lot of people look at it as misogyny and demeaning movies. When, like I said, Dario Argento made stars out of the women around his wife, his daughter, and it wasn't looked upon in the way that we look at it now. We have to judge these movies within the time that they were released in. We probably would it would be looked frowned upon these days. But watch a movie called Life Force. Holy cow, you know.
Hold on, I've got to address something in the chat really quick. Black Star, actually, no, Rob Zombie did not do Texas Chainsaw. That was Michael Bay. That was Michael Bay and Platinum Dunes.
I wasn't gonna say this out loud. I use City Folk as my placement.
Hey, look, man. I got the gist of what you were saying.
Now that Fortune's put it out there blatantly, yeah, we don't do that shit. All right, we don't. Sorry. I camped with Uncle Sam's camping expedition. You know, he put me in a tent. He put me in the wilderness. He put me out there with animals. I didn't like it. Most of us, except unless you're in the South, the 13% of us are in major cities. Like Chris Rock said, black folks are only in like 11 cities: L.A., New York, Atlanta. I mean,
Dallas and Fort Worth, because
we're in the city, even in L.A. I don't fish, even though I grew up near a big Pacific Ocean. I went to the beach every now and then, but if I could see water, I was too close to nature. All right, we don't do that. That's why when you see us in the horror movies, I like the realistic guys that we got to get out of here. It's always a black guy that said, we got to get out of here. Remember Ice-T? When they're out there hunting giant ass snake? They got snakes out here this big? We got to get the fuck out of here. And he was right. These guys, and who lives? Who's one of the survivors in Anaconda? The city folk that grew up in Compton. You know, he only went out there because of money. You know, but yeah, we don't do the wildlife. You know, we do that. Yeah, we're sorry, guys. Just don't do it.
Black folk don't do wildlife.
No.
Well, hey, man, look, my white self would be following you out of the camp, okay?
I'm leading the way home.
I grew up rural, and I know what happens in the backwoods, and I'm done. I'm not going back. Fuck it.
Yeah, you would kill him. Like I said, I think it was Friday the 13th, part 2 or 3. I think it's 3, where they're banging in the bed, and he gets him with the spear, and the spear goes.
That's 2. That's 2.
And then there's one where the kid is walking on his hands, and Jason splits him. I'm like,
that's 3.
Oh.
He's the kid with the pregnant girlfriend that was in the shower when he got split in 2 because he was walking on his hands.
Yeah, and then they killed the pregnant. I mean, they killed everybody.
And they killed her. They killed her in the hammock after she got out of the shower with a knife under the thing, just like they did with the arrow under Kevin Bacon.
I'm not lame, dude. If you find a way to fool me into going out into any of this crap, I'm the guy who's going to be sitting back towards the wall, brick wall, facing the door. I'm strapping. I'm gonna have fire. I'm gonna have my expert. Hey, William, let's go have fun. Let's go get s'mores. And like, no, let's stay together so that when he comes killing, I can use you guys as shields while I get out the way. I'm not going anywhere alone. No, I don't care. Listen, I don't care if the hottest chick in the world is there. She's come, William. Let's go. Let's get away from all these people.
The only black guy in a horror movie that I've ever seen that didn't run away from the bad guy was Busta Rhymes in that Halloween movie.
Oh, jeez. No. Like I said, I don't care if it's. I don't care how hot she is. I don't care if she comes up. She's topless. William, we're at Camp Crystal Lake. Let's live in the moment. I'm like, I'm sorry. Here, grab your top. Don't you know there's a crazy killer around here who has a mad on for people who are making out because that's how he died? Why are we going to be doing the thing that kind of pisses him off? Think about that? Still horny? Okay, let's wait. How long is the thing? We got 3 days. We'll be out. We'll be home in 3 days. Listen, we'll do it on the van going back. How about that? I'll compromise with you. We're not doing any of that stereotypical shit, but they always do it. And it's fun to watch them die. I mean, it's like I said,
Dude,
the art form than death.
You go to those movies just to see these idiot camp counselors die. That's the whole point. Like, and I love how people try to overanalyze horror too. They're like, the characters are just horrible. I'm like, the characters are there to die. They're supposed to be horrible.
This might be too much. This might be too much of the 3Ds if they let that guy do it.
Have you seen Terrifier? Holy crap.
You can't really analyze horror movies, like I said, because you'll have to get up and leave. Like I said, Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, I always tell you, the movie should have ended when they're driving to Camp Crystal Lake and they pass a hearse and the coroner bringing out the dead bodies of those old people that died when he first got there. As soon as we see that, turn this fucking bus around or let me out. If you don't stop the vehicle, I'm going to take my chances and I'll jump out the side because you're all going to die. And by the way, the guy driving the van was high anyway. We're going to die anyway. But no. I see the corner. I may not even want to come home to my own neighborhood if I see the cops in the corners there. You think I'm going to go out in the middle of nowhere? No, I'm staying in the city because you know what we got in the city? We got guns. We got all manner of weapons in the city. You've
got warm bodies you can throw in between you and the bad guy.
We got doors, and you know what? We're not wandering around in the middle of nowhere. We're not banging chicks in random places. We're doing it in our house where you can't get to us. We got dogs and stuff. Yeah, no. Let's look what we got. Yes, boobless that. No, that's not true. In those movies. You could have a movie without nudity. But here's the thing, though. We are beyond the age of gratuitous nudity, the guaranteed TNA that you're supposed to get in Friday the 13th and all these other movies. However, I don't want the coin to flip on the other end. And if it fits your story, put it in. If it fits the tone that you're trying to tell, put it in.
Well, it's like Ty West when he made X. Literally, X is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but with porn stars in it. Like, literally, it was a group of porn stars that go out they rent out a place in Texas that's owned by an old couple, and they go out there to film their movie on this old couple's property, and they start dying. That's literally the premise of that movie.
Yeah, they were. Well, yeah, because we're a little bit softer these days. We don't like to do the
So William, you talked about you didn't like the wildlife on the trip that Uncle Sam put you on in the tent out there in the sandbox. What'd you think of the camel spiders?
Actually, they're harmless. They're not even spiders. They're like
it's a scorpion. It's a scorpion kind of creature. Yeah.
It is the most harmless, timid thing out there.
I heard they move really fast, though.
They have to. A camel, we picked up dead ones and stuff and moved them. All right, so what a camel spider is, it's like it's in the scorpion family, arachnid family, and it has its little pincers, but they don't really, it's a delicate species that for some reason evolved out there, and it can't. The heat will actually kill it. If it stays out in the heat too much, it would kill it. So when people were thinking, they kept on thinking, oh, the camel spiders are going to chase you. No, they're chasing your shade. They're chasing your shade because if they stay out in the heat, that's why when they got to us, they didn't bite us or anything. They just moved with us. And when they got to when we would pass a tree or something or a tent, they would take over the stationary shadow and go from there. They were only following us because of our shadow. And the reason why they called them camel spiders is because camels and the better ones throughout that area were the only things that were constantly moving through the desert that could get them where they needed to go. As long as they traveled with the caravan of the camels, the spiders, they were safe. And since the Bedouins and the people that the farmers and all that knew that they were harmless, they never killed them. They didn't start getting killed till we got out there and started shooting because we were terrified. Until the locals like, dude, they're harmless. Don't. They look scary, but do you see them flopping across the thing, and you see them go from one shadow to another, and that's all they're doing. Their bodies will overheat and damn near explode, and that's weird for something that evolved in the desert. But you only mainly see them at nighttime, and they would sneak into tents because they don't really have good sight either. They can't see, so they would get into places and they would by accident, and they'd get killed that way. But yeah, those weren't that big a deal. The word camel spider, like I said, it looks like a spider, but it's not, and they get the name camel because of the fact that that's what they use for shade, and they were moving shade, so the camels were always moving, so they were always able to cross the desert with them. Interesting thing, eh? Yes, Candyman should still freak you out. It's still creepy. And that new one, that's how you do a continuation / remake, whatever the hell that was. The new Candyman by Blumhouse, or the one that they just did by Universal, was great. All right. Let's see. This was fun. I got to go to bed now. It's been a long day. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Yeah, we're about to wrap it up here pretty soon. Wow, we've gone longer than about 2 hours. Still got some more minutes yet. Horror 101. You don't have to be the fastest person. You just have to. Yep.
Exactly.
Or you have to start out with enough distance between you and the other dummies. All right. Let's see.
Night, Shree.
Good night,
Yeah,
Shree.
I'm gonna have to go here soon too, William.
Yeah, I think we're about to wrap it up. I think 2 hours is double the time we usually do on our 6:30 show. Glad I was able to do a show tonight because, like I said, my whole day has been.
Yeah, we definitely have to plan a slasher show for this month.
Yeah, I got to do a Black Adam special too, but that's different. So, all right, guys, thank you for all your support. Thank you for staying up with us this late, and we will see you tomorrow night. What was you trying to? Okay, I don't know what that is. We will see you tomorrow night for the overnight edition, and we'll just continue amongst the topics unless something breaks overnight. If my Dodgers lose, don't expect me to be in a good mood.
Oh, by the way, just one announcement I do have to make for any of the Harry Potter fans out there, and also British dramas. Unfortunately, Robbie Coltrane, the guy who played Hagrid, passed away today at 72. He will be missed.
Yeah, apparently he was doing some health issues towards the end, and they were talking about during that reunion special that he was in 15 years he won't be here. So
Yeah.
So I was kind of sad.
Yeah, he knew he was on the downtrend. So.
Yes, I tried. If I can bring anything to the table, let's try to stay alive. All right, let me get to my my outro here. All right, guys, say bye, Dave.
Night, guys. Be safe.